members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me in this early afternoon live, and I picked a strategic point to come on here, as I believe for the next hour we're going to have to pay very close attention to what's transpiring. It doesn't seem like there's any reason to think that Bitcoin won't come back up and try to at least double top that move at all-time highs. And then that's when you would get the extreme pullback. Right now, we had the drop down about 10,000 points to 59,200 after hitting all-time highs. And now we're going to attempt for the first time to see if this handle could hold or if we need to have a bigger drop. But technically, like if I'm looking at this objectively, it should come up there and at least double top there, even if it's bearish. So I'm anticipating a move up to there. We're going to get very deep into XRP as we're going to talk about a bull flag that's emerging as we know about. But also with we've got some tricky technicals that are kind of telling a tale of two stories. We've got some technicals that are telling us at 63 cents, we've got to be very careful as that rising channel resistance, if it does fail to come back above into that rising channel, that would instigate or at least telegraph another flash drop with XRP. And that could line up perfectly with Bitcoin going back up to 69,200 and XRP runs up, another 5-6% here with it. So we'll see how it plays out exactly. It's going to be a very interesting live. I think this will be one of the most important ones we watch all week, not just because of what's transpiring, but when we get through it, I'll also talk about, once we talk about our own views, we'll weigh it against the XRP bull flag signal that could signal an explosive price move to come, but we'll weigh that against what we have, determined here within this live. I'm also going to go over one that, once again, it's deleted off my chart, but that's okay. I'm going to go over AMP because I've been watching it for over a year. I very briefly talked about it, but I have made my first play into something outside of our generic ones, or at least outside of the ones that that I've made a play in. This is one that I've made a shot in the dark here, and I'll show everybody the reasoning why. It's only like 400, it's at 83,000 tokens, but it's less than $430 worth at the time of purchase. And then I want everybody to pay attention to First Majestic Silver as well, as that is one that I've added as I have B2 Gold, right around $3,400 worth of, now with the price movement up about $3,800 worth of B2 Gold. But I also added $1,000 in First Majestic at $4.97. I was hoping to talk about it before it started moving. It had pulled back a little bit after I bought it, and now it looks like it's moved up again because silver has found a little bit of steam there. But anyhow, those are ones to keep an eye on. But AMP, as far as crypto, I think it's in a very interesting moment right now. And I know there's fans here that have brought up AMP in the past, and I said I would not talk about it until I found the appropriate moment. And not that I wouldn't talk about it, but even suggest that it's even worth looking at. Not saying it wasn't over the last year, but it took a very long cup here. So it's finally starting to come outside of it after a year. And I think it's starting to present itself with an opportune moment, possibly here, not Corium, but we have to go to our AMP chart. But we'll look at this because it's taken a year for it to finally start to pull around. So if this is finally forming its bottoming formation, there's a lot of opportunity here if this is the beginning stages of this. And we'll talk about this because it was all the way down at 0017. It's come up to about 005. But is this the time where after a year it's finally put the bottoming formation in, and we'll see what it has to entail there. So I'll go over that, go over what I'm thinking there, but mostly we're going to be talking about XRP. The majority we're talking about XRP, and we're going to see exactly how this is going to play out to the rising channel and just to foreshadow what's to come and exactly the moment that XRP is facing. We've gotten ourselves into a little bit of drama here with this rising channel that we came outside of. Just for anybody who's new, we've come outside of this rising channel, and this helped us predict the over 12% drop yesterday as the technical move was down to 55 cents. It came down, and I put the swing low at 53.2. I put that down here just so we know. So that's what we're looking at right now. Although on the first hit down here, it was down at 527. So that's it's interesting when you start looking at the variables here and exactly if we're going to continue moving up here, or even if we come up here, it could come up to 65 cents now today. See, yesterday was 63 or 60, somewhere around 638. But at current time, if it comes up here today, it's going to be about 65 cents. So if Bitcoin goes up to 69,200, just to double tap even, the double top, wouldn't that tell us that even XRP should have enough steam to come up to 65 cents, even if we're bearish? So we'll answer all of that here this afternoon. I think this is going to be a very explosive live. I don't know how many people are going to watch live because we're in weird, volatile moments, but I think it's going to be a pretty popular one just because, like I said, we're in a moment where it seems opportune here, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot to be desired as far as what could possibly go wrong here or what could continue to extend out here. So if you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this live and allow us to expand our reach, not just with new viewers, but with older viewers that might be looking through their YouTube feed and they're just not seeing us pop up through the algorithm. So they're not even sure that we're putting out lives or updates. And by you hitting that YouTube, by hitting that live, YouTube will recommend this video and it just might pop into that older users and especially newer users algorithm. So I do thank everybody for tuning in and having the due diligence on this Wednesday afternoon at just 12:42 p.m. I'm on a little earlier than I normally am for my first live, as I started to do it around 1:32 o'clock. But today we were a little busy here in the early part of the day. Julie's gone and it's just me and my son, so I'm taking advantage of an opportune moment while he's doing his own thing. So I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. So let's get to this. Good early afternoon, 12:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, March 6th, wow, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Yes, let's not let Martin down. He says smash that like button. 61 likes already. 97 people in here already. Wow, that actually exceeds my expectations. Unbelievable. So let me go through this very quickly. Matt Holden, welcome in, and thank you so much for being part of Tom's Army for 5 months with the XRP Predictor. Captain Crypto, welcome in, friend. Seen a couple people talking before we started, which was awesome. John Booglethorpe, welcome in. Tom the Master, thanks for your dedication. XDC, TA, if you can, please, sir. We will absolutely get into XDC during this live, my friend, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Oh, it's true. It's damn true, folks. That's my face superimposed onto that emoji badge. Michael, Ken, Mark, XRP Stu, Martin, welcome in, my friends. I appreciate you tuning in on this beautiful afternoon, although it is pretty cold here in Michigan. Private Driver, welcome in, and thank you for tuning in, being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. George and Juan, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Nanastad boy and Chance, welcome in. Good evening to you, sir. And Chance, welcome. I'm thinking 64, then low 50s before we go. I could totally see that playing out. I'm not objectifying to that. We're just trying to time it out with this rising channel to see if it does reject on that again. But I absolutely see one more correction coming if I had to guess. But it's all going to base on Bitcoin if it blows past this double top or if it does in fact get stopped. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in along with Copper Vein. Thank you so much for both of you being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. YL Slays, welcome in. BlackRock bought more Bitcoin. I think it can hold. If they're buying it up, that would allow us to continue moving. We got a lot to talk about here. I'm so excited today. So excited. Crypto Wizard, welcome in, and I appreciate you tuning in. JIOV, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years, along with UB2 Sob with that 2-year emoji badge, the 589 badge, the 589 moon badge. I greatly appreciate, well, the XRP 589 moon badge. I appreciate both of you being in here. Yes, XRP and XLM, to most, they say that that's the gold and silver of crypto. But don't forget about XDC. That would be like the copper. So you don't ever want to forget copper. UB2 Sab is our mean genius. I appreciate you being in here as well. Crypto Bob, welcome in. Appreciate you tuning in. Sean Crothers, welcome in, my main man from Maine. JW, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. Trading with J-Ride, thanks for continuing to tune in and being part of Tom's Army, along with Jose for over 2 years with the 589 badge, XRP 589 badge. Unbelievable the support in this community and the longevity. Appreciate both of you. And as Jose always says, watch, recycle, repeat. Watch the content, recycle the friends and family, and repeat by coming back and watching the next update and or live. Trading with J-Ride. What's up, Tom? We not rich yet? No, not rich in nominal terms, but we're going up every single day in value and knowledge. We're becoming nominally valuable in knowledge, too. Martin, welcome in. Yes, hit that like button. As Martin says, let's not disappoint. Private Driver, welcome in. And thanks for reading Tom's Army for over 3 months now with the XP Media. Yes, again. Somebody said it earlier, so I'm going to do my, for anybody, an old-time viewer, this used to be my intro, and somebody brought it up in the comments before I even started, so I'm gonna satisfy your need. Good early afternoon, 12:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XLM and Future Digibyte OG, and that's dedicated to the person who was here before we went on live, who put that in the comments. That used to be my intro when I first started 3 years ago, but it was much too long and nobody could find what I was, my station. So we had to converge. XRP Raptor, welcome in. Roland, Crocus, welcome. Mixshoot, Satoshi, welcome. Are there any other coins that have performed as poorly in the top 10 as XRP and are back to where they were 6 years ago? I don't believe so. I think XRP is the worst performer in the top 10. But remember, it's been a very long-standing consolidation. So we have to consider the fact it's been doing that since January of 2008. Wow, that's a big donation. I haven't even talked about donations or anything. Holy smokes. January of 2018, we have to remember XRP went down or up to the resistance of all-time highs. We've converged for the last 77 months. So XRP is not expected to hit all-time highs until you can break this formation. And the longer you're in it, with a bullish outcome, the bigger the rise. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Ben, welcome in. Thank you so much for reading Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Jordan Langdon, welcome in. And wow, Kevin Bruner, thank you so much for that $9.99 donation. Tom, thank you so much for the value in yesterday's midday report blessing. You're welcome, and I know that we nailed it to the wall, as I said yesterday. We knew we did even prior to the move. We called that 13 or 12.5% drop like a boss, and we even showed where it was going to fall out in the back test if it failed, and it did, and it went exactly where we were talking. So I love when we can do that as a group. It's not just me, though. You have to remember that. This is all of us. This is all of us. The group will get smaller as the days get longer, only because XRP hasn't had its big breakout. The moment it gets above 66.6 cents and starts pushing, I expect this community to start pushing 300-400 people in the live. So be accustomed to a bigger growth here, because we've been definitely flexing a little bit amongst our community, and it's pretty cool. Our community is showing out now, and I love it. Max, welcome in. Messi, good evening or good afternoon. Allison Flynn, welcome in. Love, new to your channel, and I love your content. I can honestly say you have us investors in your heart. I do. I do. It's only because I am one of you. I came from the slums, and for all intents and purposes, I'm still building up into that millionaire status, because I wanted to go from, so everybody could see from 21 the steps. You know, some people come on after they've already succeeded. Some people decide to do it in the process. I'm one of them who likes to live in the moment. So I've come a long ways, but we're nowhere where we're going, Allison, and I appreciate you with that. That's a nice motivational comment, too. I love it. That's some positive reinforcement here, and I love that. JW says, thank you, Kevin B., and I appreciate that. So does JIOV saying, good job, Kevin. Uphold has asked me to verify my information, won't let me buy. Nope. You have to verify on Uphold. If you're trying to get around that and you can send money to another exchange, I have a pinned comment right here in the live. It's BITUNIX. They allow USA and Canadian users to trade as of January of 24 with Canadian users. They got their licensing, the trading license. They have it in the USA as of 2022. But they allow you to trade. You don't need to use a VPN. And if, like I do, I send stuff from other exchanges. I didn't even do a KYC. I've done no verification at all. And I've withdrawn. I've put money on from other exchanges. But it's the lowest spot fee and leverage trading fees. And I've come to find they do not go down in high times of volatility. So yes, I have a lot of stuff on Uphold. But as far as new purchasing, if I can get around Uphold, like I've said with XRP, I send it away. I've been doing that for years now. So take a look at BITUNIX in the pinned comment in this live. USA users, Canadian users, welcome with no VPN. Around the world, you can trade as well. It's not like you can't. But as far as close to home where it's hard to trade, try to take advantage of that and look a little deeper into that, because I am too sick of the likes of Binance and Uphold and Coinbase and Kraken always going downs and high times of volatility. I dare not say the rest of them. Robinhood all the time. So it's nice to have something that has our interest at heart. And they added 200 trading pairs when they went offline for, I think it was like an 8 to 10 hour. They did a maintenance a few days ago. And they updated the trading pairs by over 200 trading pairs and withdrawal pairs as well. So you can add more. It's just a beautiful thing when you finally find an exchange that's not nickel and diming you. Saved me thousands just in trading alone, which is crazy what Uphold does to us. And they've been in with XRP since the very beginning. They've never gone away. They supported us when our U.S. government tried to take it away, when only Uphold was standing by us. We also had BITUNIX that I had no idea about. No idea about. I wish I would have found out sooner than July of 23. It would have saved me a shitload of money on Uphold. I'm just calling it for what I see it. And honestly, for me, if I want to send it to Uphold, I'll just buy it on BITUNIX and send it over via the ledger for 0.1 cent, and then I'll have it on Uphold. And if I want to sell it, I'll send it back over the BITUNIX, and then I'll send my Tether over to Kraken, because you can send Tether over, and then you can withdraw it like that. See, there's ways to get around all these stupid fees on exchanges. I'm telling you right now. So just figure it out. Yep, I remember, Sean. It was only, you could only deposit $500 a day in 21. So when we were building as a community to build up that portfolio, we could only do $500 a day when I started. Not that I had any more to do than that, but we built up to 7,200 XRP tokens, and we had our certain line of things, and we built up from 47 to $1.66, and we're going to do it again. And then we sold out at $1.66 after it went to all-time highs, and it proved $1.70 was resistance. Like, there's so much stuff we can do here, and we're just getting started. We are just getting started. We are so just getting started. Wow, Jordan sends his first YouTube super chat. Holy smokes, and it's a $50 one. He says, thanks for the knowledge. Jordan, thank you so much for making my time and effort. Not that it wasn't worth it before, but putting some of your hard-earned money behind that statement. I can't even thank you enough. And I'm not even going to tell anybody how to donate or to do anything else right now, because there's been so much generosity. So I'm gonna defer until the end of this live to let you know if you want to show some support how you can do that, because already the generosity is just overshadowing what I could have ever expected. Roland, welcome in. Jay Swartzfigger, welcome in. Thanks for bringing it every day. Tom, appreciate you too. The visitor, our day will come. It sure will. The day will come. Senor says, thanks, Roland. Yes, indeed. Joshua, saying that's love, Jordan. Yes, it is. Kwame Martin, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. XR Perfection, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge of the XRP 589 badge, the moon badge. XRP Perfection, if I can't get the Theta in this live, I promise you at 6:30 p.m. I'll get to it. I will try my best. It's just I have a couple different avenues tugging me this afternoon. Sean Crothers, Uphold makes you be accountable to Uncle Sam. They 100% do. If you are on Uphold, 100% you are accountable, and I pay my taxes every year through Uphold, which is also a good way to prove an income for a higher status if you would like. But it's also, that's why some people like to use an exchange where they can kind of do what they want unless they're cashing out, so Uncle Sam doesn't see it. So, that's just what's going on. Do all banks have NDA with XRP? They always say they can't talk about XRP when asked about it. If I'm guessing, yes, because I've tried to get it out of my bank, and now we're caught up in the comments, so I can turn my phone off and we can do this in real time. I know sometimes it takes 20 minutes, but I believe everybody has a voice. Tanya, welcome in, love, and thank you so much for being a part of Tom's Army for over 1 year, and we'll look at HBAR today for you, love. Martin, welcome in as well, but I believe they do have a non-disclosure agreement, because my banks, every time I talk about it, it's almost as, even when I've gone in person, and mind you, I have less than $1,000 in the bank at any given time after paying bills, because I don't trust them. I don't trust them as far as I can see them. So but they won't talk about anything related to XRP. It's almost as if it's a taboo. It's a topic of taboo. So, but what we're looking at right now for XRP, and let's be frank here, we came down, and just in the short term, we knew we had to exhaust this little flag here, and that should bring us up to around 55 cents. The only way that this would get rejected is if you go into like the 2 hour and this 20-day keeps beating us down here. If for whatever reason 61.1 cents or 61.3, I should say, if I'm being honest, 61.4, unless that beats us down, I see no reason why the 200 won't be the support that plays through. And then we come up here somewhere around 65 cent area to either prove that we are bearish, because I'm going to be honest with everybody, and I'm not sugarcoating it. Look at this 2 hour candles. On the way up, this is not what you want to see. On the way up on the rebound, 852,000. Mind you, on the way down, there was no shortage of volume. So what I believe is going on here, along with Bitcoin, and I'll show you the same thing, I believe the trading bots, they shut off the sells. They shut off the sells, and you have a moment right there, but they shut it off right here for about an 8 hour period, and I'm only going to show you why I believe that. You have an exhaustion candle here, supposedly of 7.5 million. And you know that because of the straight wick down, the pull back up, and then the next one doesn't even come close to running it down. Then you have 9.6 million. All of a sudden, we have 735,000 on a reversal, 8.96 where it's a squeeze. Now let's get into when it starts moving up. 852,000, 1.38 million, and 2.3 million. Do you think I'm a fool? Do we think this community is a fool? Now when we start going down, it's 5.8 million, 10.6 million. We're not fools here, folks. There's a lot more sell volume in this range. So now if they shut the bots off again here, in a 2 hour range, only 2.2 million, but it's starting to show some green. Now, how much you want to bet if it makes this rally up here? It's going to be on very low volume, and that's going to be a suggestion that we might be more than just a rejection here, and we have to look at that second flash drop. Unless we get past here and we start pushing in some volume, this should be a rejection, but it's going to also tempt the shorts to already be opening up shorts anywhere along here. And as I said yesterday, don't even start looking until around 63 cents. And it did come up to 623, but I'm not sure that's enough. And I still think this bigger flag would have to play up a little bit higher. From this drop, it created a flag, it broke out, it back tested it right here. So now you would go off the back test, and it should get us around 65. That's my humble opinion. And if you are watching right now and you respect what I do, and you want more people to be in here and have an active discussion with us and be able to grow their own knowledge and portfolio, please hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this video. We've got 97 likes. We're up, oh my goodness, 165 people watching right now. But please make sure to hit that like button so we can continue to expand the reach, and not just new viewers, but older viewers can find their way to this community now that YouTube's recommending and it pops up in the feed via the algorithm. That's the one way we can grow this community even stronger. As we just went over yesterday, 20,600 subscribers. So I cannot thank everybody enough for that. And we've already put together over 50 new subscribers from then as well, which is incredible. Everybody's so incredible with that. So now we're looking to Jorge, welcome in, my friend. Appreciate you. No, if you on uphold, typically the form comes, and I've had to do an extension the last 2 years to get everything in order. So I just have found it in myself. I don't do taxes in April anymore. I do an extension out until October or November, depending on what the new year is, whatever their extension is. But I found it easier to do it that way. And then the 1099's in order from uphold. You know, last time it took until May for them to get me everything appropriately for my account. So I just do an extension. It's a small penalty you pay to do an extension. It costs me less than like $100 a year to do it. So, but it gives me the time to get all of my stuff. I've already started doing my taxes, like all my funds that I've earned, my YouTube income, you know, anything that I have outside from trading and stuff outside of crypto is already calculated. It's just calculated. The crypto is not put in yet. So although my homeowner's tax credit just came, so that's something I got to add into it. So make sure if you own a home, you're writing off those taxes, because mine this year, and it sucks to say it, but mine's like $8,000 for the year, up from $5,800 2 years ago. So they are nickel diming us house owners The ones who own a home like crazy. And if you are in an apartment like I was not too long ago, a few years ago with Julie, they're also getting you there too. So that's why it's so important for us to build a portfolio. So important. And if you just calculate that, that's like a monthly payment going from about $450 to $500 a month to them all of a sudden jacking it up $200 to $300 a month. So it sucks. But we got to do what we got to do. So trading is a vital part of what I do. And even if everything went south, you got your trading portfolio if you got to pay taxes. It's that simple. So anyhow, we've got this resistance we're looking at about 65 cents. As Bitcoin continues its press up to about 69.2K, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, property taxes are way out of control, and they overvalued my house this year and last year and the year before. When I bought it from Julie's sister, or cousin, it was her grandma's house. They built it in the 50s. Her grandma had it, first owner, and then they sold it to her aunt and her cousin. Then we bought it from her cousin. I bargained a good deal. I knew it needed a new HVAC that cost me 10 grand the year after I moved in. So I bargained it, and I got it for $155,000. But after I put the down payment and everything, I was looking at, so $155,000 is what I settled on. They this year they assessed it and appraised it. I think 170 would be fair, 175. They appraised it at $242,000. My house is not, it's about 1,100 square feet. I have a decent lot compared to where I live, and I have 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and stuff like that. But for it to be that expensive, if you're doing price per capita, my house should only be about 170,000 on the top end. If you want to go into real terms, it might only be worth 135, 140 in a real market terms, which means it's almost up. Look how inflated it is. But you and I, it looks good to the eye that our house is going up in value, but that means all the money they put in value, you have to pay over the top in property tax, which means if they're overestimating my house by over $70,000, even though if I sold it, the house next door got $230. So I can get what they're saying, or within the ballpark. That's not the issue. The issue is it's overinflated for the next person even, and now you're paying that property tax based on the 70,000 inflation. So you don't think the inflation tax is coming from somewhere? Look again. That's why I say they're tricking us. The government's tricking us. They're nickel and diming the middle class until we don't have a middle class anymore. Now for Bitcoin, what we've been watching, let's get off that topic because I know a lot of people are homeowners who watch and they're not very happy with what's going on. So let's not piss everybody off here this afternoon. Bitcoin created that cup. It goes all the way back, to April of 2021. We came all the way around and created that cup. Now my theory was, first chance we could hold it around 59 to 60,000, a 10,000 point drop. That was our first chance we would have to hold. I just thought it would be a push back up and we would get rejected likely on a double top, and then we would have the real move. That's what my theory was, and I'm sticking to it unless Bitcoin can break out past this resistance, in my opinion. If we double top here, I think we come down at least to this broadening wedge support around 55,000, and that would be about a 15,000 point drop, or 14,500, 14.5K. And I think that would be the real shot of putting this bullish handle here. I don't think we're going to be able to put a real handle here unless we come back down to that massive broadening wedge reform. And what better way? And it could even come down farther. And as I speculated, 38 to 44 maybe if it breaks that, which I don't really want to see because then anything can happen. But I'm dead set on the fact that I think we're going to come up likely with the volume portfolio. Like we've been seeing, it's not great. When we have exhaustion candles of dump volume of 21,000 Bitcoin in the 4 hourly, then we have 18,000, and all of a sudden you start reversing 3.7. Now look at the run up. You can't fool us on bullshit volume. Volume predicts price. When you have 23,000 or 21,000 on the dump candle, and the first significant pullback up is 4,940 in 4 hours. Come on now, 4.7K. Then we have one breakdown candle and it's 9.8K. Now we come back up, we got 3.5K in 2 hours and 7 minutes. That's prorated at barely five, what is that? 5.56. I mean, it's not adding up even if you have a good candle. That's almost 3.5 times less the volume coming back up. To me, that tells us that we're really weak coming up right now. And if it wasn't for BlackRock buying, I'm not sure we'd even have this kind of buying pressure. So if we break up, though, make no mistake about this, I've already targeted out. If we break up, it goes to 71,000. If we break 69.1 and it can hold. Your technical move would be 71,000 off of 66,283. The catalyst is getting over and holding the double top. Now, could you have an overzealous run to 71 and then it breaks down? If that happens, look out below. That means it's coming down to at least 55, if not further. So, Matt says the never-ending wishful thinking with XRP. I'm not sure what you mean with wishful thinking. If it's wishful thinking to make money year over year, I mean, that's fine. You just got to have a basic understanding. I think what you mean to say is the typical over-analyzing and the over-expectations out of XRP based on fraudulent influencers on YouTube, social media, on the news, people telling you the wrong BS information. What you should have said is if you pay close enough attention and you understand the bull and bear cycles and also fake bear cycles in XRP's case, in 2021 you had the ability, if you watched, to buy at 47 cents on average and sell it at $1.66. And had you have been diligent to this station as we grew over the last 3 years, because I never missed a day, as I started at the end of March in 2021, never missed a day. And then we bought back in at 34.6 cents. So I think what you mean is XRP, you have to be very diligent, and year over year you can make anywhere between 80 to 300%. I think that's what you mean to say. You just have to catch the right cycle and not be in it during the drops when it's in a bear market from a bull market. I think that's what you meant to say. It's not wishful thinking, my friend. It's about the time and effort you put into it. It's my XRP in itself has allowed me to explode from holding XRP and taking 3,500 bucks and turning it into, even when I cashed out around 13 grand, and then going from that, or about 12,000 if you want to talk about after the fees. But you take that, and now you look at the portfolio of not just precious metals that were acquired from that. You look at the portfolio of XRP, XLM, XDC. You have HBAR, Algo, ZIL, VeChain, Casper, Corium, Solo, Flare, Gala. Recently added AMP, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So, yes, I understand everybody says XRP and my $100 in Shiba that's now worth like $350, $400. I understand everybody talks about the fact that XRP doesn't move, but whoever said you were only supposed to buy XRP? Certainly not me. Yes, it's my single biggest weighted asset because of where the price was. But I have $3,500 of my money into XRP. Ready? $4,000 roughly into everything else. Now about $4,400 with AMP. So in no way am I saying that you should only hold XRP. And that doesn't even count the almost $5,000 in commodities I have right now between First Majestic and B2 Gold. So I'm very well spread out. And for me, I bought some of these, all of them, 99% off. You should see how far AMP's down from the all-time highs. Hi, Kat, welcome in. I'm so glad you were able to find this community. So glad you were. And she said I don't know, because I don't know, but saying you love the community. I need to go back to that comment because I actually missed it. Let me go back on my phone. I'll only bring out the phone in times of, if I need to. Wow, Kevin, thank you so much for that $9.99 donation. I certainly did not expect any donations. I haven't even brought up donations at all. Like, you guys are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Kat says, hi, Edward Island, Canada. Oh, yeah, thank you, love. So happy I found you this week. I was watching that retest of the channel. It's nice to see that you were sort of confirming that for me. I love this community. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do, Kat. We're here each and every day, and I don't BS the community. I show them my portfolio as I advance it, but I also tell the truth. And it's very hard for me to build an audience at first. But now that everybody sees the proven track record over 3 years, it's starting to fall into place as we pushed over 20,600. It's incredible. Matt, the never-ending wishful thinking. I love it. I love it. Fat $2.50, 1.5 month, 50 cents. This is crazy. That is pretty crazy. The focus says Zill, yes indeed. But let's keep on track here. So for anybody who is new, because we are 35 minutes in, and please make sure that like button, 176 people. How impressive is that? Make sure that like so YouTube will recommend this beautiful community. And as if you're new, we do this from a standpoint of love, not hate. We do it from positivity. We do not play the victim here. We play the winner. And understanding when you play the winner and not the victim like most of society, you've got to have all the education, all the information for the most possible outcome. Not just being informed on the charts and news alike, but being educated and informed by the right people. You have to have the right people behind you. And like for me, I listen to Peter Schiff, Jordan Peterson, Mike Maloney, for a while, Robert Kiyosaki, but I believe he's kind of branched out into too much FUD. But I still like him from in the past. But ones like that who influence you in that way, and then obviously don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because I believe in the end, the faith in our own, let's just say our own reputation, but more than that, it's our ethics. It's our standard, it's our integrity. I put my integrity out there at the highest level, so I expect that out of my audience. And it took years to get this community how I wanted it and to change myself into the person I really wanted to be. But now we have a really loving and all-inspiring community, and it makes it that much better. So that's where we come from if you're new. This isn't like somewhere else you're ever going to find. I don't talk about XRP to 10,000 because I think it's unrealistic. What I think is realistic is with the circulating supply that the banks use it as not a world reserve currency, but a liquidity hub for banks worldwide. So basically what that means, if you're new and hearing this for the first time from me, the banks right now are having a liquidity crisis. Right now, next week, we had the 1-year extension from like when Silicon Valley Bank went down and they bailed out and a few others because they were with all the rich people. That's not going to be the case for our banks. Back in 2008 area, Obama put back in, and by the way, I don't talk politics, but he put into a bill that we were doing the last bank bailout. From here on out, if the banks got into trouble, they would have a bank bail-in, which means anybody with money on the hook, if they determine 5% of whatever your bank holdings were has to be used to cover the bank, to cover all of the holders, that's what you would do. So if you had $1, you'd lose 5%. If you had $1 million, you'd lose 5%. It's universal. So now we're coming to a time when they had a 1-year extension on banks where they were failing. They made a big bailout, and what it was just a overzealous printing of money that we have to pay for anyhow. But now they've already said they're not renewing this next week. So unless some miracle happens and the banks actually do start collapsing, we could have a calamity style event. And it's no secret why gold's gone into all-time highs again. Okay? So we need to understand what's going on. So under a big liquidity cash crisis, when we flip over from cash and we go digital like they're trying to do, in a liquidity crisis, in that scenario where you can't just print in the printing presses anymore and print your native fiat, that's where I believe XRP with its 100 billion or 99.5 billion circulating supply, when it's fulfilled, remember right now it's only 54.4 billion. The reason I don't want to see massive burns of XRP like every other influencer is calling for, it would likely make me sell out my entire holdings if I see them burn a massive amount, because my whole thing that I'm building on XRP is because I think that they can be a liquidity hub for banks and institutions in a liquidity crunch, which means if you have money on there, and let's just say they give a bank 100 tokens of XRP, let's just do it generically. Right now it's not worth anything, but in a liquidity crunch, they take that 100 tokens and they make it $100 a token. And it goes during the times of the crunch. Everything gets back in order, XRP starts dropping down to, who knows, maybe $5 a token. Next time it only needs it to go up to $7. So that's what I think is starting to happen here secretly behind the wall, that we're being put up in front of us, and that's why it's being fought on the courts and the SEC since 2020. That's why it needs the liquidity, and that's also why it needs to be the first to have the clarity and get dragged through the mud. I believe there's something deeper and darker with the price suppression here going on, and I am all for it. I am all for it, and I've called since 21 saying that it is a world, I've said it's a stable coin. get on board, and a bunch of people left my community. But what did the World Bank come out and say a few months ago? XRP is a world stable coin. A stable coin said by the World Bank. Not by XRP Future Millionaire, but by World Bank. The same person who said that XRP was done at $1.66. We never got back to a bull market, and we were going to have a very long consolidation back down, and I would not buy down until it got sub 40 cents. There was a reason. I even called the initial retracement when we first hit $1.98 and had the initial retracement to 52 cents before the massive push to $1.30. I called that one to the T. I'm not talking about within cents. I'm talking about to the cent. And half my audience left because XRP crashed. And then Dusty's, well, we're not going to get into all that stuff. But other stations said that I was, you know what, for calling for that big of a crash, and then it ended up happening. But by then it's too late. Everybody leaves. They forget about you. But then they wander back years later when they're like, oh my God, what did I miss out on? That's the biggest reward of all for the ones who stuck around, honestly. AMP, somebody brought up. Yes, AMP is looking frosty. Let's get into this before I forget. Holy smokes, it's already moving for me. I bought AMP. I just bought, I'm not even kidding. I bought 89,000 AMP. Unbelievable. I really thought I was going to do this update before it was up 7% today. Son of a bitch, I shouldn't have waited so long. I talked too long, and I apologize for that. I bought this because it rotated here, and I said, I waited so long for this thing to fucking rotate. So long. Look at this. This thing came so far down, and I was waiting for the rotation, and I didn't buy it down here because I was waiting for the reversal. If you look at where AMP was at in the beginning, and I'm looking for this targeted move here initially, and it's going to be a big one if it does it. But ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to find very many that do something like this. AMP, 22.6. I mean, you're talking about, that's how big of a move. If it gets to the next move, you know, it's got a big move, and I'm not even looking at that move because that might be over expectation. But just to get back here, you're talking some big areas here. So this is my, let me just put it this way. This is my sleeping dark horse, AMP. It is my dark horse. And I just reinvested into it not too long ago when it held this. I was into yesterday, though, so I got to find the, it was in 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 8. It might have been this wick, though, because it was 4, it was not all the way down at 4.3. It was right around 4.4, and I bought 89,000, just over 89,000 tokens, and it was just over $400. And the reason why is because I've been watching this for a very long time, and if this is finally formed, this bullish handle, and even if it goes down, I'm going to buy more. If it starts coming down 20%, I'm buying more every time down until it gets to where it's going now. But if this finally, first tier, has finished this off, and this is the handle that it's trying to form, you know, we've got a big, big move here. And I'm going to do a little bit of technical analysis just so you can see where the good spots to accumulate in. And if you're wondering where, ironically, Uphold has AMP. Despite the higher fees and stuff, that's one place if you have Uphold, they still have it. Then if we look at this objectively, we could say we kind of branched off into more of an extension type of push here now. We could say maybe the breakout starts here. But this is a dark horse for me. I don't talk about it very often, but I do have 89,000 tokens now as of recent. And I don't care if it's up, down, left, or right until it figures this motion out. Because you could buy it now and be within 12% right now. No, not even. It's about within 10% of where I bought it so far. Now, what I'm looking for, hopefully, if it doesn't work out, I can buy another 20% or 22% roughly at 3-4 if it breaks down. But this is the area after the backdrop. I was waiting after it came up here, I seen, and it came down some 25% from there, a little bit more. About 27% from the initial move, and I said this is time. So that's where I'm at with AMP. Right now it's up 7.8%. It was a quick push up from when I bought it, obviously. But I do things in a weird way. But I do expect if it doesn't have a volatile breakout before Bitcoin breaks out, and when I mean volatile, I mean at least coming up into some of these ranges. And let's get into a smaller time frame. but at least coming out. Because what we obviously have to look at here, I showed you, I don't know what I did here, but I showed you this uptrend. But what we have to look at, though, is how this pattern can conclude. We still have to acknowledge the fact, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, we've still got to come up through here. We've done nothing yet. The only thing we've done is rotated off the bottom, and now we started to build the inverted right arm, which is what I was looking for. The back test of it, though. So now, you very well could be running from a spot where if we do bounce off the bottom here, this bottom bounce is something like a 50% move to see if we're going to get rejected. That's a good spot to be. I like those odds in comparison. You know, if you start breaking down, and then we can start adding more if it does, but I needed a spot of reference once it started rotating outside of this area. So now I've got my basis, and now I've got my formation from resistance to support, and I told myself I'd buy as close to that bottom support as I could. And that's exactly what I did. I bought it around 4.4. It might have even been a tad at like 4.398, but I'm pretty sure with the fees it was over 4.4 on Uphold. Otherwise, I would say I was at like 4.392, but I know for a fact it charged me over 4.4. So it was about 1% over it charged me, maybe 1.5. So just consider that, but I'm very happy with how it's already started. I'm not sure where it put it. It already deleted our chart. Maybe I hit the wrong button. So let me just put this back on here. But then we got to talk about a lot more. I only went to this because of some that brought it up. And I went to it earlier than I anticipated. But, yeah, it's a pretty interesting spot in the formation right now. But we'll continue to look at this because I think it's an interesting spot in the rotation. So... No, listen. I understand. Yes, I understand that, but listen. So on Uphold, it is true 25, but 25 on this row of watch list. Then you can come out to KSM and add more. And then I added an FVC and you can add more. So on the initial watch list, only 25. But then as you go into the other watch list, I found you can open more. That's why I have different categories. But what I do sometimes, my friend, is when I'm clicking on something, this little spot where you see this X with the paper on the bottom here below the RSI under the 19, if I click that, it'll take it off my watch list. I notice. So sometimes I am the victim. I do it to myself. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right about that. If you don't upgrade, it's 25 on the watch list, but there are ways around it. But I refuse to pay for it because I want to do it from a standpoint of the everyday trader. Like how I was in the very beginning. I couldn't have afforded to pay for the monthly subscription for this to have extra stuff. So I do it from a basic. I do it the most basic you could ever see. We continue to watch this consolidation as we know. Yeah, thank you, Matt, for that so much. I appreciate that, honestly. I really appreciate that. Because I may know that, but somebody in the audience obviously won't know that. So that information you just put out there is more important than I think you even imagine. So thank you so much for that, Matt. That's why I love this community so much. If you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this video. We're about 50 minutes into this live already. I've really been talking that much. My dear Lord. 199 people, so I must be saying something right. It's at 159 likes. Please make sure to like so YouTube will recommend this live and more people can find this beautiful community. If you do want to show me support, I'll finally talk about it. You can send a YouTube super chat. Always I ask if you do appreciate the extraordinary amount of time I put in, the fact I don't do paid promotions, paid advertisements, paid sponsorships. I don't promote any products. I don't promote any other shit tokens to where I can get rich off each and every one of you, like you've seen in the past with others. So all I ask is you send one YouTube super chat per month, or consider joining Tom's Army. If I've made it easier for you, if I've added value, or it's hopefully to your portfolio, consider joining Tom's Army to pay it forward. I did add a Cash App link, but that's in the pinned comment, so you can do whatever you want with that because some people are uncomfortable through YouTube. Or if you're trying to trade on BITUNIX, as I've been talking about, the lowest spot fees in the USA on trading on leverage and futures. They don't require a VPN in the USA or Canada, as the USA got the trading license in 2022, as I like to do my homework. And in Canada, just as recently as January of 24, you now have a trading license there. And you have a place to buy XRP that hasn't got rid of XRP during the entire lawsuit during all the unregulatory uncertainty and does not charge you an arm and a leg for fees like Uphold. I've saved so much money on BITUNIX, and then I send stuff where I want. It's a crime that I didn't know about it in 21. And I apologize not just to myself, but my audience. But it wasn't available in 21 in the USA in the way it is now in the freedom because they didn't get their trading license till 22. So that's the reason why I didn't go with them in 21 until they got everything figured out. Uphold had that license in 21, and I'm willing still to have the security of Uphold, but if I'm buying something else, I'm buying it on BITUNIX if I can, especially XRP, and I'll send it to the ledger, or with other things I can send it back and forth via the different types of ways as they added 200 pairs now and other withdrawal options in the last several days with their big upgrade. So that's in the pinned comments below, and they have the lowest spot fees in the USA and leverage trading fees. So if you're looking for leverage, you can't trade leverage on Uphold, but you can on BITUNIX. But be very careful. It's one of the reasons I still encourage Uphold because there is no leverage trading option. So the gamblers out there, if you do have a gambling tendency, I would choose Uphold just for that purpose alone so you don't get caught up with the leverage trading. But anyhow, that's my opinion on that. That's the best I can do to help everybody in that regard, the way I trade as well. What does this say? RG. Oh, do we have somebody who's being you want RG question to be answered? I have not even seen RG's question. And I was in, let me get my phone out. Hold on, I'm going back. Okay, so is XRP going up or going to break out, RG? Right now, like, you must not have been in the beginning. In my opinion, XRP right now looks like it's going to cap any upside on this rising channel resistance. Unless we see Bitcoin break out and hold all-time highs here, unless we see XRP or Bitcoin break all-time highs on this double top push and not have to build a bigger handle, XRP should cap any upside if it can get up here to about 65 cents because it should be getting rejected by this rising channel resistance. Unless we see a bigger volume portfolio, I see it being rejected up there. Unless, RG, no problem that you're not up, like you don't think you're the best at technical analysis. That's why I'm here. I'm honest with everybody. I tell everybody I taught myself, and I tried, hold on, I gotta let Julie inside, but I'm trying to build everybody up from the standpoint from watching each and every day. Here I come, Julie. That was quick.
Only 11 minutes.
I'm still doing my live.
Only 11 minutes I was there.
So you got it for tea? Thank you, Julie. Julie's a hero. Julie's our hero for our son. She went for our son because we don't believe in the old, the blah, 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 the jab, whatever you want to call it, so I don't get expelled here on YouTube. So she went through the exemption course today so that our son, when he starts his, as you know, he got into a car accident, hurt himself, his femur really bad, broke it when he was 6 months old. He's developmentally delayed, but he's coming out of it very nicely now, and he's being very progressive now this year. So he's going into a speech class, a occupational therapy, and an additional physical therapy, but we didn't want him to have to get, be experimented on. So Julie went today, and she went to the exemption class, and she went through it for the sake of our son. So I'm very blessed to be with somebody like Julie who understands the bigger picture. But that's all I'm going to talk about that because everybody has their own opinion. So with XRP RG, what I'm saying is 65 cents likely caps all upside unless we see a volatile swing of volume and Bitcoin breaking all-time highs and not having to put in a bigger cup around 55 or even lower. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, I'm not 100% right all the time, but if it breaks through this, I'm not trying to say that this is a prediction. What I'm saying is that if it does get rejected up here, it came out of that rising channel for a reason. Those are bearish reversals, and unless you can break back up into it truly, and typically it would have to happen before the daily candle closes. So right now, let's for instance say in the daily candle, and I reserve the right if it does this. We reserve the right if the daily candle does this, and then before it closes, you see it all the way up here. We know we had a reversal here, and this daily candle started down here, but if somehow, some way it worked back into the 65-cent range and got over that before the close, you would say, wow, that's a good close, and that could be an engulfing candle to start tomorrow. So that's where it could change your interpretation. But as of right now, I expect it to get rejected. Yesterday, I said if it came up yesterday, 63 and some change. Today, as you continue to move across that uptrending resistance now, it's at about 65.1. Unless Bitcoin plays off and XRP plays off, and we're going to talk about this market cap dominance here, because that almost looks like a bull flag in the market cap dominance for Bitcoin. And if that plays out, I mean, you could be talking about another move to 56%. So Bitcoin, what we're saying is, if Bitcoin comes back up and we have this long-term cup, and I know this is sloppy because it's such a big pattern that I have to show it like this, but Bitcoin had a cup that lasted 3 years, April of 21 until March of this year. It came up once and tapped it, went down, and it held the initial handle at 59 to 60K like we were looking for. We just didn't know when that came up to double top if that was going to be big enough. That's our only question here. There's no doubt to us we're coming up, but is it a big enough handle to push us out and into all-time highs? My theory was, based on what we did, even if it makes a breakout, 71,000 could cap all upsides, but if it plays true out of 66,000, that brings us to about 71,000. Now, in that scenario, if we don't get rejected initially off 69.9 or 69.2, that could be a scenario where you run up and have an overzealous pump out the top, and then it could pull down and build that handle, or the handle will suffice at 59, and now with it pushing up, and then if it broke 71, you would expect it to hold 69.2 as the back test, and then start breaking out, and 71 would be the catalyst to the move out. If that happens, XRP should not get rejected by the falling channel at 65 cents on the way back up, and it should push out towards that 66.6 cents and ultimately target that 67.7 cents and see if we can break towards 70 to 75. That's why I would not go short necessarily, RB, right at 65. You better be sure that all these variables are playing out, because if they're not, the market manipulators could have another push up. And I've warned everybody, BlackRock was buying Bitcoin today. So if BlackRock's buying, is there a bigger motive here? Or they were buying on that big dip, I should say, at 59 and buying it up. So what the hell is really going on? Because that ETF at some point, remember, on the exchanges, they can buy Bitcoin with Tether, right? It's just cash value on a screen. When people are buying the ETF, they can't buy it with Tether. They've got to sell it out for real dollars, not artificially sell it out with Tether, because it's got to be US dollars on the ETF. That's the big difference between the ETF and the exchanges. So is there going to be enough buyers to buy the ETF sellers in the amount of, if it were to have an all-out sale? Conversely, is there enough Bitcoin to go around if it can be bought up between the ETFs and the crypto markets at the same time? See, we're going to have a calamity effort here at one point, and that's why we need to stay on top of it. So that's what I'm saying with Bitcoin, with XRP. We talked about AMP and our sleeping giant that happens to be up 8% today, which we're very happy about that. Well, I'm very happy about that. So just consider what's going on here. Just consider what's going on in this environment. I would not leave you without reading that article still, as it's already been 58 minutes and I got to get going soon because Julie's back and I have to save my voice for my live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the one asking about Theta, I appreciate the fact that you were very patient. You didn't keep bringing it up. And because of that, I'm going to bless you and show you Theta real quick. Just in the short term, though, because we already know it's had a massive breakout of a cup. But now we're looking for the short-term prognosis here for Theta. And if I'm looking at it, and then we got to get into this article. Tonight we'll get into all the rest. We'll get into a lot of stuff tonight. We got to talk about algo tonight. We'll get into XLM deeper. I'll show you one brief moment of XLM right now once I get done with this, just to show you the update. But this is what you're looking with Theta. You need to get above here for Theta. This is the best way I can show this, and I didn't want to leave without you seeing this because I'm very familiar with Theta. I watch it almost every day still. So resistance 1, resistance 2. You had a support structure coming in. This is an ascending formation. These can technically be neutral continuation patterns because you don't know if the ascension is going to break down at the uptrend or if by this consolidating. So what I would expect with Theta is if you get another tap at 313, let's see, about 314, if it gets rejected, you're going to come back to the uptrend at 243. That would likely correlate with if Bitcoin got rejected, so just remember that. We are showing a beautiful V-shaped recovery here, so this could be the start of a drop if it stays truthful here. So, yes, Sean, I will update my technical analysis on Turbo, and we will absolutely look at that tonight, Sean, for you. I 100% promise. I know we did an excellent interpretation before, but now it is time to start updating that indeed, or at least see how it filled out. So, hopefully that helped with Theta. With XLM, we're looking at up 1.08%. XLM's done what we've wanted it to. The technical target after that breakdown, if we broke bullish, was 14.4 cents. But the catalyst is if we can get back above this major formation resistance at 13.52. Otherwise, it creates a right arm, and that same move up would end up bringing you back down, as possibly down to 10.8. So we have to see. But right now, if it plays true and things move up with Bitcoin, you could see a target up here of around 14.4 cents is the technical move still. If it breaks up. If it breaks down, it's around 10.8. But this is your pivot point line in the sand right now. So, and yeah, good job with the likes, everybody. 165 people still here, even though I keep saying I'm about to leave. But 178 likes, so I appreciate that. And just remember, if you do want to send a YouTube super chat or consider joining Tom's Army, I just ask one time per month to pay it forward. If you're looking to trade XRP in the US or Canada with no VPN, lowest spot fees, and you're looking to leverage as well, as the fees are lowest there, and go with somebody who has a trading license in both places and never got rid of Uphold, BITUNIX is in the pinned comments. Other than that, I just want to read this real quick, and then I'll be out. Don't miss out. XRP Bullflag signals explosive price movement. So this was printed at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. The cryptocurrency markets, notorious for its unpredictable nature, presents a complex picture for XRP. While the past week saw a positive surge of 15% in its value, whispers of a potential correction in the recent actions of major investors add another layer of intrigue. However, the daily chart paints a contrasting picture with a slight decrease of 0.5% at the time of writing. This mixed performance, coupled with XRP's current market capitalization at $35.2 billion, highlights the token's volatile nature. So it's a tale of two charts and conflicting signals. XRP's weekly chart reflects a steady climb, suggesting a long-term bullish trend. However, the daily chart dipped in crimson, hints at a potential short-term price decline. This conflicting data leaves investors uncertain about the token's next move. Technical analysis offered divergent perspectives. Some, like world of charts, see a bullish triangle pattern forming, predicting a potential price surge of up to 3 times its current value. Others point to indicators like Bollinger Bands and the check-in money flow, suggesting a possible pullback. So that 3-day consolidation, you can't say that's going to be the 2 to 3. I don't know about that. That's a awfully high, lofty expectation. And that's not even the technical breakout point from the 6-year descending consolidation from all-time highs that we've been in since January of 18. I've said this many times. If you want to be honest with yourself, if we break out of the 6-year the 77-month consolidation after all-time highs, and then a swing low to the uptrending support in March of 2020, and the pattern that can end or can only play out as long as December of this year at the end. If you want to talk about the actual move out of that 6-year consolidation, or 77 months right now, the technical target's $1.97. So I don't know where the hell this target comes from, but this is that, what I speak of is that nonchalant, over-analyzed, overinflated BS technical analysis that will end up getting people wrecked from a small scale. I'm telling you, in a 6-year technical time frame of 77 months, XRP's been in a bullish consolidation, assuming it breaks out. That first technical move, it doesn't happen overnight, but as it continues to play out, would be $1.98 or $1.97. The importance of that is that to retest from the breakdown in 2021. That would also play out as a magnificent cup as you're seeing in Bitcoin right now. But we haven't made the move yet. And then if you put a bullish handle there, then, and only then, you see what's happening here? You could build a cup all the way out into the future in your imagination. And if it happens, you build the bullish handle. And that is how you signal to push the 350 or all-time highs. Anything short of that, all these 3-day nonsensical charts and all this FUD and all this over-analyzing of fakeness is going to get everybody in trouble. Continue to stay true to yourself. Continue to follow the real charts and understand the real technicals. We are in a very big moment of opportunity, but it's not because of like most are saying. The real moment of opportunity is because you understand what's happening in the real pattern, the real developments with Ripple and the lawsuit, the real developments with the banking sector, the real involvement with XRP on a grand scale when it comes to institutional investors and institutional money. And then also it can be a liquidity hub with everything you put into it. The one thing you need to realize though is you don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Okay? And I have a nice majority that I put into, or a nice percentage of what I wanted into XRP, but I am very diversified. Very diversified. And everybody who comes in here and throwing shade at me that doesn't understand what I do and say, oh, XRP, that you got to understand the bigger picture. And like I've said before, and I'll say it again, if my worst performing asset year over year is up 90%, or 85 currently, whatever it is, I'll take that every single day. Every single day, if all out of my 13 assets, if my worst performing asset, besides AMP that I just bought recently, is 80%, I'll take it to the bank. Have a blessed afternoon, everybody. Don't let anybody throw you off you want to do. And I cannot thank you all enough for the continued support. It is absolutely unbelievable. If you watch until the end, hashtag be better do.